असं नाही, असं नाही ठेवत बेटू, असं नाही ठेवत, तुला नाही माहितीये. चालू कसं?
Namaskar. Myself, Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta. I am founder, Indian Teacher Education Community. We are organizing a program on qualitative research. Our resource person is Dr. Arvind Jha. I am inviting to Dr. Archana Srivastav. Actually, we are collaborating to this program. BCG College, Devas. I am inviting Dr. Archana Srivastav for further information, for further program. Welcome, ma'am.
Namaskar, sir.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Namaskar.
Honorable guest, Dr. Arvind Jha, respected Director, Mr. Prayas Gautam, and Mr. Samadhan Gautam, respected Principal, Dr. Harsha Shirsagar, teachers, and my dear friends. Warm good evening to all of you. I, Archana Srivastav, and my co-host, Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta, welcome everyone to the webinar based on qualitative research. Friends, our guest of honor, Dr. Arvind Jha, has made a powerful contribution in the field of qualitative research, and he has revised the John W. Best research book for Pearson publication. In this way, I feel proud to introduce you to this incredible researcher. BCG Shikshan Samiti. Hello.
We are listening. Please continue.
This program organized on BCG Shiksha Mahavidyalaya. BC Gautam Shikshan Samiti was founded to promote the ideal of Shri BC Gautam and with the blessing of Shrimati Vidya Devi Gautam. This college was approved by NCT and was recognized by MP Higher Education and affiliated to Vikram University, Ujjain. B.Ed course was offered in the year 2003. DLED course was started in the year 2005. Then our college also offered for MEd course in the year 2007. And now this institute is trying to become a research center as well. Our college is located in beautiful 2-acre campus near Devas in a lush green and pollution-free environment. It has approximately 450 students, over 35 faculties, administrative and supporting members. All the faculties are highly qualified. We have massive infrastructure, well-equipped laboratories, Wi-Fi enabled campus, state-of-the-art seminar hall, open space, and well-stocked library, which has national and international books, and also have many journals, which is creating a new platform in the field of research and education. The aim of the institution is to provide the best education to the future teachers, and our approach to provide a complete personality development. Teaching learning is a core of the institution ethos. Teachers are trained as empowered agents to bring social change by this course. The classroom is looked upon as site of engaging learning, reflective action, and participative pedagogy. BCG College of Education is the best private institute in Devas for placement. We train our students so that they can be best teachers. They are in placed number of CBSE and ICSE school. It committed to nurturing and creating students who are equipped to be morally upright, socially committed, and spiritually inspired world citizens. Our students understand that with the power of knowledge, they can achieve their goal. We feel proud that our students won many gold medals in both the courses B.Ed and M.Ed. The college, while proud of its past achievement in marching ahead on the journey to achieve excellence. Thanks. And I invite the principal, Dr. Harsha Shirsagar, to welcome and introduce Dr. Arvind Jha. Harsha, madam. Hello. Harsha, ma'am.
It's a technical problem. I'm contacting her. Please.
Please continue, sir. Up invite colleagues. Hello, Harsha, ma'am.
Good evening to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to purpose the welcome on the memorable webinar. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's webinar a resounding success. First and foremost, I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Mr. Arvind Jha, is a world-famed renowned resource person of qualitative research. He is HOD and Dean of Education at Baba Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University, Lucknow. He was Nehru Fulbright Scholar. He has revised John W. Best research book for Pearson publication. He has written many books and research papers and books on qualitative research. So, I welcome to Dr. Mr. Pramod
Pramod Kumar Gupta.
to begin his session. Please, Jha sir. I have humble request to you. I invite the chief guest, Dr. Arvind Jha sir, to begin this session. Please, Jha sir. I have humble request to you. Please invite Mr. Jha, sir.
Ma'am, there is another technical problem. Sir is connecting with us. Please wait.
Okay. 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 Thank you, sir.
जी.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है आप तक?
Most welcome, sir. Yes.
थैंक यू थैंक यू थैंक यू थैंक यू. सो ये मतलब कि टेम्पररी कनेक्टिविटी है. जैसे ही हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी की कनेक्टिविटी रिस्टोर होगी, आई विल स्विच ओवर टू दैट. राइट, देखते हैं इससे
No
जितनी
problem.
कनेक्टिविटी
No
चलती है.
problem.
ठीक ठीक, चलिए. तो आप लोगों की फॉर्मेलिटी पूरी हो गई है क्या?
Yes, sir.
ओके. तो
We have invited you and we have welcomed you.
तो कौन कौन लोग थे जिन लोगों ने की है, उनको तो धन्यवाद दे दूं कम से कम.
प्रिंसिपल मैडम थी और कन्वीनर मैडम थी.
अच्छा अच्छा, प्रिंसिपल मैम थी और कन्वीनर मैम थी. ओके, दोनों लोग थे. ठीक है.
जी.
तो प्रिंसिपल मैम थी डॉक्टर हर्षा, आपको नमस्कार मेरा, अगर आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन रही हैं. और जो कन्वीनर शायद डॉक्टर अर्चना श्रीवास्तव थी.
जी.
जी, आप दोनों का धन्यवाद. और विशेष तौर पे प्रमोद जी को धन्यवाद कि उन्होंने ऑर्गेनाइज किया. ये सब आज जो हम लोग जुड़े हुए हैं वो उन्हीं का व्यक्तिगत प्रयास है, मैं यूं कहूं. मैं तो बस जो कुछ अपने जीवन में थोड़ा बहुत सीखा वो आपसे शेयर करूंगा. अच्छा, एक चीज और प्रमोद जी, इसमें क्या बाइलिंगुअल रहना है मुझे या इंग्लिश रखना है ज्यादातर?
सर इंग्लिश टू इंग्लिश जाए तो
बेहतर है.
बेटर.
ठीक
Yes.
ठीक, फाइन फाइन. So friends, thank you so much for joining me, and I'm delighted and happy to have you all on this platform. And coming 6 days, I'll be with you, or 5 days. Exactly, I don't remember the schedule. But anyway, as Dr. Pramod Gupta had briefed me that I'm supposed to talk about paradigms of qualitative research first, and then tomorrow, very interesting topic, and the topic will be the narrative inquiry. Then I'll switch over to focus group and ethnography and phenomenological research. And finally, my discussion will end on 11th on discourse analysis, right? There are many more, and I have been told that grounded theory will be conducted by Dr. Pramod Gupta himself. So there are many more, and I have got the feedback also that you people are more interested and rather keenly interested to know and learn how to do this. No, why? I mean, no, but I think how to do a particular task requires what is that task, what is the ethos behind that, and why is it so. So until unless you're acquainted with what and why, as far as my understanding goes, I believe that you cannot understand how. For example, it's correct that a child learns how to cook traditionally in the kitchen how to cook tasty food, no? Just by observing the mother or by telling the mother or the father, whosoever initially provides the food to the child by cooking. But as far as the professionalism is concerned, friends, all over the world in the hotel industry, hotel management, what happens? What happens? It's not they are sent directly into the kitchen and they are asked, okay, now you go and see how our cooks are cooking and you will learn how to cook and how to become one of the best cook. No, they are given all theoretical underpinnings, critical knowledge first, so that not only you should learn how to do that, but also how to do in a best possible way according to your own understanding, innovation, innovativeness, and creativeness. I repeat, why, what, and how are important so that you can bring changes according to your need as a researcher and the nature of the research, number two. And more importantly, thirdly, what is important is that, I mean, I believe that every individual is innovative in this world. Every individual is creative in this world. You'll be surprised. Today is a research methodology class. And why am I talking about the cooking class? You know, there is a very interesting story. Recently, 13 years old boy, right, whose parents are of Indian origin, that boy is born in Australia. And you know, the Australian, they have the, you know, junior kitchen competition at the national level. And this boy has defeated all. And in the end, when that boy was asked, of course, he has given the credit to his mother, who taught him how to cook good food. At the same time, he said that I was not, you know, observing my mom to cook good food and tasty food, but also how to bring, you know, change, innovative change and creative change in a given traditional food. Okay, so I have got the feedback. Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta has already given me the feedback that this is what is expectation. These are the expectations on behalf of our participants. I keep in mind that. And when I was discussing with Dr. Gupta, we have organized that in the next schedule, we'll be planning to hold a workshop, not lecture at all, only workshop. But what happens to organize some workshop, online workshop, you need some sophisticated gadgets. Presently, at the place where I'm sitting, in the department where I'm sitting, this department doesn't have so much sophisticated gadgets, number one. Number two, I'll not blame that it's the unavailability of the gadgets, but also the expertise that is required on my part, at the same time on the part of the organizer. This is the second thing. And third thing, I always believe that if you want to make yourself a good researcher, you must understand any concept theoretically in a sound way. Unfortunately, we are not theoretical sound as far as the fundamental questions related to research in general, and particularly either the quantitative or qualitative research. And that's why what we do, we have been doing, we keep doing the way people have been doing the things, which is not required, friends. Particularly in 21st century, in today's time, people are expecting lot of innovation on our part, lot of creativeness on our part, and boldness at the same time. And that's why before you actually enter into the field to conduct research, you should be you should orient yourself to understand the concept theoretically in a sounder way. And that's why time and again in my almost 24 or 25 years of my career, almost 25 years of my career, that you cannot be a good researcher unless you are a good reader. Why? Only the good reader can become a good thinker. And only the good thinker can become a good practitioner. Right? Yes. And so once, and when you decide that now I have understood the concept very well, and I can very well carry myself practically in the practical field, and out of that experience, again, you contribute theoretically, right, in the development of larger research discourses, friends. Generally, which is not there in India. But I'm very happy to note that NEP 2020 is very particular about that. And that's why not only the provision is being made that now the research courses will start from the undergraduate classes, number one. Number two, to bring a qualitative dimension in our research, what is going to happen is that National Research Foundation is going to be established. So keeping that in mind, in a short background, so what we are going to do today, first we'll acquaint ourselves the theoretical dimensions, the books, the materials, the insights, the theoretical development in that area. And in the next phase, right, in 3 phases we have organized this. This is the first phase, the theoretical phase. Second phase, the workshop. But we'll not be covering in that workshop 5 or 6 research methodology. We'll be taking 1 research methodology and at least 3 classes. Okay? And practically we'll be doing on the basis of the practical experiences that a majority of the researchers have contributed. Like when I'll be talking about ethnographic research. Okay, so when we'll be conducting workshop on ethnographic research, we'll be taking example from the ethnographers, the real ethnographers, how they started, why they started like this. And suppose if I decide to conduct similar kind of, not almost equal, but the similar kind of research, then what we are going to do is we'll be conducting at least 3 days for 1 research methodology, or 2 days at least for 1 research methodology, that to 4 hours. So practically we'll be doing the things that is called hands-on experience, of course virtually, but only the practical components, no more definitions, no more who said what. Like this is the thing. So all the reading materials will be given to you in advance. You read it that. But that reading material, we are not going to discuss at all. What we're going to do on keeping those theoretical understanding in our mind, we'll practically do everything. Okay, so maybe in 7 days maximum, we'll cover 2 research methodologies as far as the qualitative paradigm of research is concerned. Okay, and definitely triangulation within qualitative paradigm. Sometimes people say, people ask whether it is ethnographic or it is a case study. Oh God, case, you cannot do ethnographic until unless you consider your research spot as a case. Okay, so how to have the triangulation among all the research methodologies, like suppose I'm conducting a research ethnography, like one of my students is conducting a research on Musar community, that why after so much provisions among the scheduled castes, why that caste is lagging behind the most. What is the reason behind that? So I have asked him, you go and stay with them. You construct a small jhopri or house the way they have constructed. You start living like them. And I have decided to go stay with him. not only to capture in terms of quantitative data, but to capture in terms of their narratives, to capture in terms of the discourses, so that we can contribute the discourses of the qualitative research. So we'll be doing triangulation among the three: narrative, focus, ethno, and discourses. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share in the beginning, friends. Now, if you allow me, I would like to share my screen, what I have thought to do today. Should I go ahead? Should I present the screen? Anybody? Okay, hope you can see my this presentation. Can you see my slides? One of the organizers can respond to me. Please respond to me.
Yes, we are looking your PPT, sir.
Okay, fine, fine. So, qualitative research paradigm. This is the first topic as given in the brochure. Tomorrow I'll be talking about narrative inquiry or narrative inquiry as a research method, and so on and so forth. And I don't want that you should only listen to me and forget this. I'm very happy now. I'm seeing almost 95 people are on the boat. All people should form a group, WhatsApp group, or maybe I'll ask Pramodji to have the Gmail group, no, or any mail group, or any other platform, so that continuously we can dialogue, or maybe, right, forming a group within the group, like forming a group of 10 people or 5 people, and on one topic, on the basis of serious deliberation and discussion, serious reading, okay, and reading widely, and we should come out a book, extensive book on a particular research methodology in the qualitative paradigm. This is what I'm expecting. That's why we have taken this initiative, friends. Okay, and that's why I have provided you my email as well. Well, what I have done, why I'm here, I mean, as I said, I have been one of the fortunate one who started teaching from the teaching research from the beginning of my career. Once I joined the permanent one after University of Delhi. So this is one book that I have done, general book. No, I cannot say quantitative and qualitative. And some of you who belong to the discipline of education must be knowing about this book, Research in Education. Initially, this book was written by John W. Best. So when I read this, even I have read this book. When I was a student, I was doing my Master of Education in Department of Education, University of Delhi. Then this book came with a revised edition after a lot of input and revision by James V. Khan. So book became popular, Best and Khan. First the Best, then the Best and Khan. And then, fortunately, I got the chance, the Pearson approached me that on the basis of the understanding that I have, I should revise the entire book. And I have revised it. Now in India, it is available in the name of Best, Khan and Jha. Okay, Research in Education. So all those people who are in the area of education, they must be knowing. And let me tell you, this book is not only popular in India, this book has been very, very popular in US as well. Because in US, in almost all colleges and university, you will find this book in the library. Because there, students are oriented to research from the undergrads only. So once you take admission in first year, first semester, under any bachelor program, or Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science or Technology or anything, people read this book. Okay, particularly in education, among the education colleges. You'll say, how do you know that? No, good question. Then I would like to share with you, I have been a Fulbright Fellow. I was awarded a Fulbright Fellowship for International Education Administrative Award. And I had the opportunity to visit 5 states of United States. Like we were housed in New York, and from New York we went to different universities and colleges, and they specifically had asked me that what specifically you are desiring. I said I would like to understand why United States of America community colleges is so popular, and that's why I visited most of the this. Anyway, so this is a very small book, my small contribution that I have done. Now, as far as the qualitative research is concerned, you know I belong to the discipline of education. Qualitative research for education, an introduction to theories and modern methods. This is the first book that came in the area of qualitative research for education. And it was jointly written by Bogdan and Bicklin. Again, after the success of that book, this publisher gave me this opportunity that I should revise this book, whatever little understanding I had. So I have organized. So these are the two books. I don't know, it's the readers have the right to judge that how these books are doing. But as far as the first book is concerned, friends, I must thank Best and Khan both that I read this book, I cleared my JRF, and I did my PhD from University of Delhi, right? Okay, what today I'm going to do. So firstly, what I'll be doing, I'll be talking about research and research paradigm in terms of perceived perspective. Then I'll be talking about the qualitative research paradigm. And then I'll be talking not only the perceived perspective, friends, but also I'll talk about the change perspective. That what kind of change is required in our thinking, particularly in the field of social science, management, education, art and culture, etc., etc. Even in humanities. Why? Now these methods under qualitative research paradigm or in qualitative research paradigm are becoming so popular in humanities. Forget about social science, art and culture, and education. Recently, I had conducted one workshop for 4 days for humanities people. Humanities, you understand, those who conduct their research in literature. So I'll be talking about that. Then I'll also talk about the world perspective. When I'm saying world perspective, the thinkers and the theorists, whom I'll expect that, not today, not in coming 7 days, but in coming time, when we are going to conduct the workshop mode, that you should orient yourself with the ideas of such thinkers and theorists. And last but not the least, I'll be talking about qualitative research paradigm because I belong to the discipline of education, educational context, and academic context. When I say academic context, it means in the context which is suitable for social science, in the context which is suitable for humanities, in the context which is suitable for art and culture, and in the context which is suitable for education, so educational context. Fine, friends. Should I move ahead? Well, so before I opine myself, there are some questions in my mind. What's that? One question, the pertinent question that is there in my mind is research an inquiry or something else? This is first one. And I don't want, the answer which is very much particular and written in the book. You think about. And these questions are not only for me, but for all of us, so that tomorrow we can bring out some manuscripts, some books, or conduct our research with a fresh mind. Okay. Second, is research for the sake of knowledge or something else? That is a theory construction. If you ask me, then you know why theoretical understanding is important. Because the highest degree that is given to conduct research is the PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. No? And why philosophy is so popular? Because even the small thing they present in the form of theory. So knowledge is always represented and presented in the form of a theory. And that's a theory construction. So is research for the sake of knowledge? That is theory construction. You have to answer. You have to think about it. I'm not going to answer. I'm just sharing my understanding and my perspective. Is research for solving a problem? And this is what in social science and particularly in sciences we claim. Physics don't claim that. The only science that qualifies to be called as science, which we people sometimes called hard science, is the physics. Physics doesn't believe in that. See, most of the research that have been done in sciences, they are theoretical in nature. 90% of the physics research are not implementable at all practically. Okay, but yes, since people write it, since people have the right to think, question is research for solving a problem? And next, is research more than all the above? That no, research is neither the inquiry, nor for the sake of knowledge or theory construction, nor for the sake of solving a problem. It is a beyond all these. If beyond all these, then what is that? Can we think of something like that? Are we capable to think? If yes, what will be our direction of thinking? And if we think in that direction and we are convinced that something fruitful will come out, okay, then definitely we'll come out with wonderful manuscripts. You know, all changes that have taken place because of good thinking. Thinking is required. But what is happening? We are doing, either we are conducting research in science and mathematics, or social science, or education, or any discipline. We are conducting it ritually, as something is done in life ritualistically. Okay, so let me start and share my understanding of research. What's that? Research is the systematic process of collecting and logically analyzing information to provide sound explanations that can become knowledge. It's very complex, no? Don't you think? I have just said blah, 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 blah. Again, I'm repeating. The systematic process of collecting and logically analyzing information to provide sound explanations that can become knowledge, no? At master level, MPhil level, when you have to write exam, even PhD coursework, what you do? You just mug up the thing and you write in the book. But I'll advise you, what is research? If that's the question, you know, you always try to construct a definition analytically. Start with analytical definition, okay, and finally you synthesize that. Let's see. I'll do one practical, what do you call, practical activity. See, my first question is, what is a research? What will be the simplest answer? Not etymologically. Forget about it. Then you'll say re plus search. I have seen people have written like this. But what will be the simplest answer? Simplest answer will be research is the systematic process. So anything that you do systematically, this is what science says, systematic process. Okay, fine. So suppose I accept this definition that research is a systematic process. Then my second question, analytical question, will be, it is a systematic process of what? I mean, this systematic process consists of what? So my answer will be process of collecting the data. Fine. Okay. Fine, you have collected the data. Then what? Do you think the systematic process consists of only the collecting the data? No, 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 no. Collecting and logically analyzing. Oh, good, 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 very good. Third question. Why do you want to logically analyze it? I want to logically analyze it so that the data that has given me the information, data should become information. Do you want only information or something else? Yeah, I want something else. So that when I logically analyzing the given data, and when the data is processed, you know that when data is processed, it gives you information. But when you logically analyze the process data, process information, so that it may provide me sound explanations. Oh, good. Why do you want to sound explanations of the phenomena? So that that can become knowledge. So what I have done, I have simply started with one small analytic question, and that is, what is a research? And I said, research is the systematic process. And why do you want to have, I mean, why if it is a systematic process, then this process consists of what? This process consists of collecting the data and logically analyzing the information. So two things, two processes. First, collect the data. After processing the collected data, you convert it into the information. And then what do? You logically analyze the given information. Now, why do you want to logically analyze the information? To provide sound explanations to that information. And once the information is based on sound explanations, what will become? That will become knowledge. So friends, I'll go back earlier slide. I'm of the opinion that research is for the sake of knowledge, but not the knowledge for knowledge's sake, but the knowledge for theory construction, the universal application. So I find myself in the second category. That is research for the sake of knowledge. That is research for the sake of theory construction. My answer will be yes. Okay. So what I have done analytically, this is what qualitative research demands. You move ahead step by step in an analytical way with a very, very small questions, one step by step. But you find if something new is coming, you are always free to revise your question backward. You need to move forward, but you need to revise your questions backward. Okay. Again, people always say, oh, research has to be systematic. As I said also, research has to be testable. It can be tested. Research of nature should be objective. All these discourses are based on the old narratives, old discourses. When people started thinking that the only valid reality that is there in the world, and that could be the objective reality. So objective reality is the only valid reality, and subjective reality has no meaning. I have maintained a position in my life that the science and mathematics, both the paradigms of knowledge, have given us tremendous amount of insights and understanding. And that's why most of the social sciences have tried to copy them, including sociology. Many of you might be knowing that Auguste Comte is known as father of sociology. But very few people know, they might be knowing, I can't say that they don't know, they might be knowing that he himself came from the discipline of mathematics and physics. And that's why I'm one of the critique of Auguste Comte. Why? He thought the way the problems are solved in science and mathematics, if we apply the same procedure and methods, problem of social science can also be solved. The nature of problem of social science is completely different from the nature of the problem of the physical science. So these are, and qualitative research paradigm, those who question this understanding, they question the maxim that the ultimate reality can be, unless you are capable to measure the reality, you will not be able to understand the reality. See, when I'm attacking science and mathematics, many of might be thinking, oh, sir belongs to the education discipline. That's why sir is criticizing science and mathematics. No, friends, let me tell you. My first degree is in mathematics. My first master is in mathematics. And that's why with authority I can say, because I understand the limitation of mathematical numbers. Like another very simple example I would like to ask you. And I ask many people, how many traditions you know that are there in the field of statistics? Majority of the people are acquainted, including myself, friends. I know only history, but in terms of knowledge and fact, I don't know. Majority of the people who are working, even the statistics professors, I have a very good friend of a statistics professor in this university only. You know, majority of the people, they know there is only one tradition in statistics. No, there is not one. There are more than one. But unfortunately, right, that knowledge is not available to us. Not available to us. The entire humanity has forgotten that. Why? I'll tell you an anecdote. If I forget, you ask me this question, because so many things I have to cover, so I'm not going into that debate. Why mathematics is not used in research? Why statistics is used in research, particularly in social science, humanities, and education? Why this is happening? Because we don't deliberate and discuss with a thinking mind. We do things on the basis of ritualistic understanding, and that's why the discipline is not growing at all. Right? Moving ahead, friends. Coming directly to what is a qualitative research. So quality is what? This is what we need to understand. And that's why I say no amount of quantitative understanding can ever make us feel what is a quality. You know, the way quality has been conceptualized and used in the field of higher education, I am one of the critique of that also. But anyway, today I'm not going to talk about the quality in higher education and quality in academics. What is a qualitative research? So for me, quality refers to the distinctive, essential characteristics of experience and action lived by person. So when a man or a woman, a boy or a girl lives his or her life, the distinctiveness of his life, the essential characteristics of each individual experience and his or her action, which has been lived by them, you know, is unique one, and that is a quality. So two professors, both are teaching, but qualitatively both are different, not only in terms of delivery, but in terms of content and intent as well. And this essence we need to understand. And that's why quality refers to the distinctive, essential characteristics of experience and action lived by persons. And that's why we go into the field. We try to capture the essence of the persons who have experienced that life. Like one of my friends, he's a professor in IIT Kanpur here. He is a junior to me. Now we are friends. And we both were conducting our research in University of Delhi. I had almost completed and he then started. But the kind of research he has conducted, I'm very happy with them, with his research work. And he was conducting research on the personal experiences of post-earthquake experiences of the Bhuj people. And the narratives that he has narrated in his research, it's an amazing one. So therefore, qualitative research is a reflective, it is an interpretative, it is a descriptive, and usually reflexive effort to what? It is a reflexive effort to describe and understand. You describe to understand. You don't first understand and describe. You describe and understand actual instances of human action and experience. And that's why this research demands a lot of reflection on the part of researcher. And that's why subjectivity comes into the picture. And subjectivity is not a negative connotation, not a negative parameter, not a negative denominator. This is what we need to understand. And as I said, when you are trying to describe and understand the actual instances of human action and experiences, From which perspective? From the perspective of the participants who are living through a particular situation. Like when Harshad Mehta committed a fraud in census market, what kind of experiences people experienced were associated with that? Or when Ketan Parikh committed a fraud? To capture that, they'll say, what will happen? Oh, to understanding of that phenomena will give us an insight if the difficult period like COVID-19 pandemic is coming or going to come in future, how to develop power of resilience, how to fight with that. So, in short, friends, without delving deep into this, instead of asking why, it addresses what, when, and how. And that's the beauty of the qualitative research, friend. I hope I am clear. The organizer, I'm requesting somebody's mic is on and continuously, creaking voice is coming. Please mute them. It will be good. Okay. So instead of asking why, it addresses what, when, and how. And this difference you need to understand. If you don't understand this difference, you will not be able to appreciate this. Then many people say, oh, in qualitative research, the biggest problem is the validity. No, validity is not a problem in qualitative research. The concept of the validity, the notion of validity is completely different in qualitative research paradigm. Like it has touch point validity, it has efficacy validity, it has a resonance validity, it has revisionary validity. As there are many variations and many shades of validity in quantitative research as well. So suppose touch point validity. What kind of question comes in mind when you try to understand the touch point validity of qualitative research? Do the findings connect with theory and with other studies in a productive way? This is called touch point validity. So if it is a productive in any way, it means validity is there. Efficacy validity. Are the findings useful? So usefulness of the qualitative research gives the efficacy validity. Do they make a difference for theory and or for practice? If yes, it means efficacy validity is there in that research. Resonance validity. Do the data findings resonate with readers' lives, both as familiar and as holding personal implication? This is called resonance validity. Why? See, if I'm reading any qualitative research and I'm unable to correlate my life with that, what is use of that? What is use of that? Whether you read the work of Carol Gilligan from the women perspective of the concept of the morality and ethics, or even Dr. Gilligan, right? Or anyone from Indian point of view, M.N. Srinivas, or Professor Dubey in sociology, even from the mental health point of view, sociologically, Leela Dubey's work. And that's why the resonance validity demands that you need to ask the question before you finalize your thesis writing, do the data and findings resonate with readers' lives, both as familiar and as holding personal implication? And last, revisionary validity. Do the findings aid readers to revise, to revision, prior understanding, either academic or personal research? Fine, friends, let me move ahead. So when to use qualitative research, that's very important. When you should use? When you are interested in personal accountability, personal narration, gaining experience with this approach, wanting to gain experience. Sometimes, qualitative research just to have experience, people do the research. For example, Western researchers, if they want to understand the inner dynamics of a particular community or particular tribe, he or she comes, get married to understand the nuances, goes back and write the things. Ethically, whether it's right or wrong, that's a different thing. When you are interested as a researcher to understand an experience, you are interested in a phenomenon, what it is like. For example, what it is like to be a newly married, what it is to be like when somebody falls in love, or what it feels like when somebody appreciates you, or what it feels like when you know that somebody hates me, what it feels like when you reaches at the point of glory of success professionally, like what it feels when you become a prime minister of the country or the president of the country, or what it feels like when people start quoting you as a researcher. Those are the points where you should use qualitative research. Another point that I would like to make is, friend, this, that when traditional research has reached its limits, sometimes I get really surprised when I find that the boyfriend and girlfriend, what they do, they try to understand, to find out, oh, what is the amount of love my boyfriend loves me. So there is a love meter on the net. Oh, my girlfriend loves me. I don't think these things can be quantified. I don't think there is any system which can quantify that how much my mother loves me. So when quantitative research or the quantitative data reaches its limits, you should conduct qualitative research. Or if you say, no, not all these, something else, just for the complementary and pilot study. Right, recently, I have done one study, and that's a quantitative data. And one international publisher has agreed to discuss. Now, what I have decided to do, the same research I'm going to conduct qualitatively. And now I'm going to ask the question, not to tick mark, not say that yes, no, but to write, number one. Second, to narrate their experiences. Like it's about learning experiences during the COVID-19 period, coping with the learning strategies, or coping with their stress, etc. And then the third phase, what I'm going to do, I'll triangulate both the results. And then so in a series, I have decided to publish 3 papers.
ये वाली जो सुनाई है ना,
इससे तो बढ़ेगा क्या?
इसको मत दबाओ, इससे बंद,
इससे?
हाँ, इससे बंद.
Please mute yourself. Right. So pilot or complementary. For the complementary, you can do. Now, my second research paper not going to do anything wonder, but what is that related? Complementary to the quantitative data that I have done. So both quantitative and qualitatively complementary to each other. And in the final phase, what we have decided, I'll try to triangulate both the data. And then I'll be in a position to say, see, what is the richness of qualitative data or qualitative research? How qualitative research is different from the quantitative research? Yeah, at the same time, I know there are some research problems which cannot be done both ways. But at least we can think of someone. So with the help of my 2 research scholars, my 1 research scholar has already done that. Now another research scholar, she's developing that. And we are trying to collect the data. And finally, I'll ask both, all the 4 will sit together and do that. So just you can, when to use qualitative research? For the pilot study or for the complementary study. Now coming to the point. Oh my God, maybe tomorrow I'll have to continue, but don't worry. Now we'll discuss for 5 days. I'm with you. Almost half of the time over, and I have covered only 5 slides. Now I'll be talking about the key elements in the construction and process of research. What's that? For me, they are not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6. For me, the key elements, and then I'll be talking about the 7th one also, friends. Recently, I have added the 7th one. Initially when I started teaching this research methodology course, I was more interested in method and methodology. Then I added to theoretical perspective. But apart from that, I have added 3 more. So the first key element in the construction and process of research is the methods. And methods are nothing but the techniques or procedures we all know. So I'm not going to deliberate and discuss about that. Second is the methodology. How methodology is different from methods, friends? Have you ever thought about that? When you say methods, it means you're talking in terms of techniques or procedures. But the moment you talk in terms of methodology, that's a strategy, plan, or the design, linking the choice of methods to the desired outcomes. That's the methodology. So there is a difference between method and methodology. And then the third thing, which is very important, and that is called theoretical perspectives. When you write or when you try to understand something in a theoretical perspective, what do you mean by that? It means you try to understand in terms of philosophical stance, number one. So theoretical perspective is basically our philosophical stance, and there is no piece of research work which is not based on theoretical perspectives. It means which lacks philosophical stance. First thing. Second, informing the methodology and providing context for its logic and criteria. I repeat, friends, informing the methodology. So see now, methods draws its strength from methodology, and methodology draws its strength from theoretical perspective. And that's why I'm adding informing the methodology and providing the context for its logic and criteria. Now you'll be surprising what I'll be doing if everything I'm discussing today. Next time I'll not be talking about what are the key elements in the research. Suppose I take a research topic and I'll say, okay, you tell me what are the key elements in that, and we'll start writing about that. Okay. And that's why I want you to be a little more attentive to difference. So informing the methodology and providing the context for what? For its logic and criteria. But from where theoretical perspective gets its strength, then the 3 things are very important. And on the basis of this, friends, I have revised both the books with this understanding. And those are because before these 2 books came into existence, right, I had no chance to study, read, and think of research in terms of epistemology, research in terms of ontology, research in terms of axiology. Only people say ethics of research and ethics committee are there. Like in South Africa, we are doing one international project, one of my friends in South Africa, and they have the research ethics committee. So they will ask you some questions, you appear, and you satisfy, they'll say, okay, go ahead for the research. No, it demands something more. And this insights came when I completed my own research, because I would like to share with you, I have done my research in epistemology, theory of knowledge. So epistemology, ontology, and axiology. It means what? In short, I'll be dealing with this in great detail. But in short, what? When I say epistemology, our theory of knowledge. When you decide that I want to know what it feels like when somebody becomes a bankrupt, or what it feels like when somebody reaches at the point of pinnacle of success, or what it feels like when somebody is completely devastated, he or she has lost everything, children, family, wealth, and nothing is there in their life. Like when earthquake takes place. Suppose there is a man, he has lost his wife, daughter, all in the family, even the roof, and nothing is left in his life. What it feels like. And I said in the beginning, what will be its implication? Its implication that if some people are going to face such kind of situation, at least theoretically and in terms of knowledge, we can say, oh, you can develop your resilience power if you follow such and such measures. So when I say epistemology, it means theory of knowledge. How will you know that? Fine, my research problem says that the purpose is to know that. But the question is, how will you know that? And that's why epistemological understanding is important. So our theory of knowledge. Then the view of reality. I mean, he has lost everything. Now, what is the reality of his existence, of his life in this world? Underpinning our theoretical perspectives and methodology and ethical issues. Right? But as I said, I'll be adding the 7th point. So my journey started with method and methodology, the first point. The second, theoretical perspective. The third, epistemology, ontology, and axiology. But recently, friends, because every time I deliver a lecture, I learn something. When you people, you conscious people, you learned people, those who are eager to learn, ask me some questions. So I have added in this list not only method and methodology and theoretical perspective, along with epistemology, ontology, and axiology, but the rhetoric. I hardly find any research methodology book people talk about rhetoric. But don't you think that as a researcher, you must understand the language of research? If we claim that every discipline has got its own language, like mathematics as a discipline has its own language, physics has its own language, economics has its own language, history has its own language, then don't you think if research is a discipline, research has its own language also? And that's why as a researcher, it's important on our part to understand the rhetoric of the research. And in short, if you find rhetoric is a, cumbersome or troublesome terminology, then in short, you can remember the language of research. Right, friends? Moving. So I'll be leaving this. See, when we do research, we think that only our problem is important, field is important, and we think that so, but no research is conducted in isolation. Research is always influenced by the micro, macro, and meso factors. What are those? When I'm saying micro factors, means you, the researcher, the individual, theoretically or practically, both. When I'm saying macro level, the society as a whole influence. See, I have seen recently in last 2-3 months in psychology, in medicine, in education, in sociology, people are coming out with the research related to COVID-19 pandemic, friends. Elsewhere, one of the celebrated one wrote me, please give us any research related to COVID-19. We'll be happy to publish it. One of the journals from Russia approached me to write that what kind, because they organize on digitalization, that what kind of digital information, digital transformation initiatives have been taken by the by India, right, for better learning and teaching. I have written a paper where once it's published, I'll be happy to share with you. Very simple paper, but in the end, I have raised some questions, right? So it's not only the micro factor that affects the academic context as well as the educational context. It's the micro and macro both. What is happening presently in our society? And qualitative research, not only micro and macro, friends, but the meso factors, which you call the cognitive factors, do affect. Like the same research, like one of my students, he belongs to scheduled caste category. And when Supreme Court judgment came, he came to me and said, sir, I would like to conduct my research in the light of latest judgment given by Supreme Court for reservation. I said, okay, fine, go ahead. Like within, like, so suppose you say scheduled caste as one group or one set. Within that set, within that group, why some community have advanced in terms of social justice, educationally, politically, and professionally. Why some community are still lagging behind? It means we need to think about those also. We cannot see scheduled caste as a whole set, but one single group. No. So the meso factors are very important. Anyway, so I'm not going to discuss all these things because time is too short. See, one term I have used that is called qualitative research paradigm. So I'll suggest you to read one book, and there is nothing like science, The Structure of Scientific Revolution, which was published in the year 1962, and it was written by Thomas Kuhn. Please read this book. He was the man who gave the concept of paradigm. And today paradigm is used in academia like a fashion word, fashion style statement. Like, see, I have also used qualitative research paradigm. May or may not. Paradigm word might fit with this, but see, because so charming, so attractive. So please read this book. I'm not going into the detail. And in this book, he has talked about paradigm shift. So qualitative research as a context, as a paradigm, is a kind of complete paradigm shift in comparison to quantitative research. And Thomas Kuhn has argued that the scientific advancement is not evolutionary, but rather is a series of peaceful interludes punctuated by intellectually violent and revolutions. And in those revolutions, one conceptual worldview is completely replaced by another conceptual view. Like I said, that love cannot be quantified. And if love cannot be quantified, then how to understand the phenomena of love? Suffering cannot be quantified. But yes, like people are measuring, physical scientists try to understand what happens when physical suffering is taking place inside you. What happens? Body looks same, but mentally you are, unstable, tensed, stressed. You feel like, removing your head if there is a headache. But outside it looks, oh, head is same. It means something happens within the permutation and combination of neurons. If yes, then why? What happens exactly? Why scientists or the medical practitioners developed painkiller, etc., etc. So Kuhn argues, so paradigm shift is a change from, and so what I'll be doing, I'll be showing it with the help of, this is one thing. Second, what is the nature of paradigm? Paradigm as a basic belief system. Paradigm is a basic belief system. If you don't believe in the qualitative phenomena, and if you are conducting qualitative research because your supervisor has asked, or even the problem is demanding that, you will not be able to do that. And that's why you need to develop your basic belief system. Or if you don't have that basic belief system, you need to change your basic belief system. So paradigms as a basic belief system based on ontological, epistemological, methodological, and rhetoric assumptions. And therefore, a paradigm may be viewed as a set of basic beliefs, or you can say metaphysics, that deals with ultimates or the first principles. And it presents a worldview that defines for its holder the nature of the world. Like when Shankaracharya says, Brahm Satyam Jagat Mithya. What does it mean? Does he try to say that this world is illusory, not real? But see, majority of the people, this world is only real world. Yes, if you become religious fanatic, then you believe other world also, no? Till date, I am challenging that no religious guru has shown us the heaven and hell. They say it lies somewhere in the universe. Where? Why not we say that, okay, the day will come to know, okay, this is hell and heaven. It's physical presence or practical. Yes? Then we'll think about that. The concept of the hell and the concept of heaven, both the concepts have been created and developed by religious people just to live an ethical life. People don't understand. And that's why religiously people are exploited. In all religion, all the 3 religions I'm telling you, all the 4 religions, all the religions of the world, except 1 or 2. Majority of the dominant religions in the world, they will tell you this. They will not tell you the real story. So, there was time when, all popes and padres started selling, heaven, ticket for heaven. And wealthy people used to buy those tickets. Read the history. In Hinduism also, you donate a cow and cow will help you to cross the river and you will not be able to go to the hell. Yeah, what is this? Why don't you say what is the real symbolic meaning of that? So it's a basic beliefs. And see, I'm not talking about faith. Faith is completely different from belief. Faith may or may not be dogmatic. Mostly it's dogmatic. But belief is logical and rational, friends. So like people like me, I talked about epistemic belief system in mathematics. Why not we can talk about the basic belief and epistemic belief system in research? What is that? Recently, one of the professors sent me a questionnaire, 3 questions. And they said, we want your answer. Instead of answering, if earlier, because he's a very experienced professor, we respect, he's very senior to me, respect him like anything. But simply I said, fundamentally, your questions are wrong. So any answer that I give you, that's wrong. I have my understanding why objective questions are fundamentally wrong questions. But see, science and mathematics say objective reality is the only reality. So everything is being objectified in this world. I have seen some social scientists are talking in that favor without understanding its limitation. Fine. So basic beliefs. So it represents a worldview that defines for its holder the nature of the world, the individual's place in it, and the range of possible relationship to that world and its parts. Not taking much time, the epistemic and ontological beliefs are basic in the sense that they must be accepted, and there is no way to establish their ultimate truthfulness. Like data is the ultimate data. No data is ultimate data, friends. Why? Because no reality in this world is ultimate reality. Every reality is a mentally constructed reality. And I don't mind to say, even the reality of the concept of God is a contingent upon human mind. And I have no hesitation to say, we have given birth to the God. God has not given birth to us. But academically, we can talk like this. But in society, you can't. If you're sitting with the religious people, you can't. Because they won't be able to then survive. You must be knowing about a phenomena, why Thomas Kuhn is important, why Galileo is important to understand qualitative research. And both are scientists, physicists. What happened when Galileo said that sun is the center of the universe, not the earth. And when he made a statement on the basis of his observation, and that's why observation is a very, very powerful in scientific endeavors. Because when the entire world used to sleep, he was the only one, perhaps, maybe others also, looked into the sky through the telescope to understand, is it really true that Earth is the center of the universe? And what happened? The moment before he made this statement, in almost all the Europe, of the universities of the Europe, the university professors used to teach, Earth is the center of the universe, everything is revolving around the Earth. And when this man challenged, what was the reaction? Many of you might be knowing the story. He was put behind the bar. And who are the two agents or the two, dominant entity of our society reacted? One, the religious organization, the church, and the another one was the king. Joe said, oh my God, this man is very dangerous. King said, well, how he is dangerous? I said, today he's saying earth is not the center of the universe. Tomorrow he will say to live a moral life, ethical life, or to live a meaningful life, church is not the center of the existence of life. And day after tomorrow he will say, if the king is not the center of the governance. But what happened, you know, and that's why democracy is a very big phenomenon. Very big phenomenon. Why only the sons and daughters of the kings will become the king? But see what is happening, not only in India. Even we say that we are democratic. But I would like to ask you, why don't you do this research? I don't know if tomorrow what I'll be doing, friends, I'll be talking with each and everyone. We'll be devoting 15 minutes to understand each other and others, right? What's your expectation? What do you want? What you are doing? Tomorrow I'll be doing that, not today. That, are we really democratic? Look at the setup of the political organizations and the political functioning. Look at the various institutions that are there in the society. Are our institutions really democratic? Do you think the election process is democratic? One day we can discuss. Or maybe some of the people who are interested to conduct research qualitatively related to this, I'll be very happy to get associated. So it represents a worldview that defines for its holder the nature of the world, the individual's place in it, and the range of possible relationship to that world and its part. Right? Okay, so how paradigm shift takes place, friends? I would like to explain through picture. I have said so many things. Meaning of paradigm. Okay, the first, it's a change from one way to another way of thinking. So maybe in coming 5 to 6 days, we'll be able to bring that change. And that's why initially some of you might not like my statement, might have not liked my statement, that don't be interested how to they do this. Why don't you ask why to do this? And for that, qualitative research will tell you not only why, but what, how, and when. And that shift is a revolution, a transformation, a sort of metamorphosis. Qualitative, if you want to really truly want to make yourself a qualitative researcher, it demands that from you. So it just does not happen. Like I remember I have delivered more than 50 lectures on the same topic in India in the last 1 decade as a part of one of the experts on part of ICC's friends in different parts of the country, north and south both, and east even, north, south, and east, even west. People say, so then why this is not happening? Well, this is not happening because majority of the people don't know. And even if they know, they're not daring to do that because the system is not allowing to do that. I'll share my personal experiences and my personal journey in the field of research, friends, with you. So it just does not happen. It needs change. And we are the change agents. And last but not the last, as I said in my previous slides, it is a predominant theoretical framework, or it is based on our world perspective. Now, so how it happens? I mean, what is a paradigm shift? This picture, in short. But if you really want to understand, it's my humble request, friends, please read. It's a free of cost available. And if you don't have a copy, I can provide you this soft copy. Please read time and again in coming 5 days or 6 days. I don't know how many topics Pramodji has asked me to do. Yeah. Read as much as you can. Only a good reader can become a good researcher. because reading will give you the grit of the mill of thinking. It will provide you fodder to think. Okay, but in this, how it happens? Change in what? Change in thinking. So are you ready for that? Change in revolution. Revolution ke tarike. I mean, even the measures and the way of revolution has to be changed. Not the violent revolutions, Bolshevik revolution or French revolution or war for independence like America did for 100 years before. No. Change agents. And when all the three will converge, only then paradigm shift will take place. Only then you will be able to understand the nuances of or the essence of qualitative research, and you will be able to do this, friends. Okay. So if you have time, I have no problem, because I started almost 15 minutes late. I can continue. If you want that I should stop here, I'll stop here, and tomorrow I'll continue with the inquiry paradigm in the first half, and then we'll move over to what? We'll move over to narrative inquiry as a research methodology. So I would like to ask the organizer, what should I do? Should I stop or should I continue?
Sir, we should continue. Actually, our program is 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay, fine. No, I wanted to interact. So interaction we'll be doing tomorrow, right?
No problem, sir.
Okay, fine. So let
Fine,
me
sir.
start. So my first question was, is research an inquiry? If you say yes, like any other method and methodology, for me, it's an inquiry. You can call it systematic procedure, systematic method, whatever. Why? I would like to quote John Dewey. If you read the works of John Dewey says, somebody asks him, why do you emphasize more and more on inquiry? His answer was, the purpose of inquiry is to inquire more. Like the purpose of to become knowledgeable is to be knowledgeable more, to have more knowledge. And India is a land where inquiry and dialogue both have been given much more importance. Like, what is soul? What is Atma? And when Nachiketa confronts with Yamraj, read the beautiful dialogue. And still nobody knows what is Atma, what is soul. So much have been written, theoretically and practically both, in the Greece text, Greek text, Roman text, Indian text, and others. Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, and even modern scientists. Somebody asked me, sir, if I don't believe in all theoretical things, you tell me, what do you think? What is Atma? What is soul? I said, oh, very simple for me, friends. The integration that integrates my entire physical body and emotional body and my mind, that integration is the soul, which works as an apparatus to integrate the things. So if research is an inquiry, then we should also talk about something about inquiry paradigms. Inquiry paradigms define the inquirers, what it is they are about, and what falls within and outside the limits of legitimate inquiry. I repeat, very important, friends. Inquiry paradigms define for inquirers, like for us as a researcher, what it is they are about, number one, and what falls within and outside the limits of legitimate inquiry. It means this definition is called transcendental definition. It transcends the ordinary understanding of the purpose of inquiry. I'm extending the understanding of John Dewey. So the basic beliefs that define inquiry paradigms can be summarized by the responses given by proponents of any given paradigm to three fundamental questions, which are interconnected in such a way that the answer given to any one question, taken in any order, constrains how the other may be answered. So now what I'll be doing, not theoretically delving deeper into it, I'll say inquiry paradigm in terms of ontological questions, then epistemological, methodological, and rhetoric questions. Inquiry paradigm in terms of ontological questions. See, why do you want to research? Because I want to capture the reality of that phenomena. That's it. And that phenomena could be anything. It could be educational phenomena. It could be personal phenomena. It could be natural phenomena. It could be community phenomena. It could be national phenomena. It could be anything else. So when you are raising questions or structuring your questions in qualitative research, you should keep in mind the ontological questions. What is the form and nature of the reality that you want to understand through your research? And therefore, what is there that can be known about it? Because everything cannot be known. Like when I start my research, typical research class, I start with the what is the research and come to the, I don't start with what is the research. I start why research, number one. And then I start with what are sources of research. When my students are convinced that research for the sake of knowledge, then I say, okay, what are sources of knowledge? Then, traditionally we talk about 4 sources of knowledge. First, the personal experience. But through personal experience, you cannot know everything. For example, what happens after death? I don't think nobody should get offended. No God, no prophet, okay, no Messiah can tell you when he or she died, actually what happens. Has it happened in this world? No. No. No God is surviving today. If Ram and Krishna, according to Hindu mythology, they are the God, where is the Ram? Why he had to leave his physical body? Where is the Krishna? Even Buddhism, why Buddha lost his physical body? Hey, you name anyone. We are academic people, so academically we can discuss. And one thing more, friend, I'm requesting you, don't connotate with your religious background. Okay? Only logical. So what is the form and nature of reality that you want to understand? And therefore, what is there that can be known about it? Number one, I would like to simply ask you people, friends, when you were formulating your research problem, did you think in that term? Or still, when you ask your students, some of you may be faculty, ask your students, okay, you do on this problem. Do you think in that term? Like Newton wanted to capture the reality that why everything is falling on the earth, not going into the sky. This is the essence of the reality of this phenomena he wanted to understand. And when he understood in his own way, which may not correct in today's paradigm, right? See, he gave the reason and he gave the mathematical number for that. And this was first research question. Why everything is falling in this earth? What is the research question? I mean, if earth has got some power, gravitational power, with the help of it attracts everything towards its center. Gravitate means attracting towards its center, no? हिंदी में कहते हैं गुरुत्व, जो केंद्र की ओर आकर्षित होता है. He didn't stop there. I said, oh my God, then in this universe, there must be some energy, some power. If with the help of that, if we throw any object into the sky, it will not come back on the earth. It means beyond the Earth's magnetic power, the Earth's gravitational power. And it was his second question, research question. And what was that? Escape velocity. And he calculated 11.2 kilometer per second square. And see, today people are using those technology when we launch our satellites or anything else in the space. They don't come back until unless we program in such a way. See, our satellites are evolving there. And see, kind of, kura and kachra that's there on the Earth, the days are not far when the same kura and kachra will be there in the space. And there will be a fight. Like today we are fighting, oh, India's ocean boundary is up to this level. Tomorrow we'll fight our space in the space, see? So when I'm talking about in terms of inquiry paradigm, in terms of ontological question, what is the form and nature of reality? And therefore, what is there that can be known about? For example, if a real world is assumed, as I said, the concept of hell and heaven is an assumed concept. Even in mathematics, it is assumed concept, no? You'll say. So people ask me sometimes, do you think the mathematical knowledge is false? I say, no, I'm not saying mathematical knowledge is false, but mathematical knowledge is not the ultimate knowledge. As Aristotle said, they are not to enter in my school if you don't know mathematics. This is what he had written in front of his school. And according to him, geometrical reality is the ultimate reality. Geometrical knowledge is the ultimate reality. But for me, I differ from Aristotle. No. Even the mathematical knowledge is assumed knowledge. I'm not saying the false knowledge. No, in its own paradigm, that's correct, but not the ultimate knowledge. Best example, I'll share my personal anecdote. When I started, I had three options: to do my honors in mathematics, to do my honors in English literature, or to do my honors I wanted to do in history. But unfortunately, in that university, combination as such that no mathematics. If you have taken mathematics and English together, you cannot study history together, right? My dad wanted that you should have these three combinations because I was very particular that I wanted to pursue mathematics. So I had to take psychology. I have studied psychology in graduation, normal psychology and abnormal psychology, two psychologies. Anyway, so I had three options. I decided, okay, let me be, I don't know, whatever I'll be in my world, but I should pursue mathematics. So I decided to do mathematics honors. And in mathematics honors, there were 5 papers, only 5 papers. And you know, with honors course, it happens. Once you are dishonor, you are dishonor. You cannot do master after that. So 55% you have to achieve. Even 54% means dishonor. I mean, in our system, those days, I'm talking about more than 30 years back. Anyway, so what happened? So there was a paper that is called spherical trigonometry. So everybody had to take one specialization. I chose spherical trigonometry. Oh my God, I thought its name is spherical trigonometry. So it will be just like trigonometry or application of trigonometry in astronomy. Astronomical trigonometry or spherical trigonometry it is called, not astronomical entirely, spherical trigonometry. And to my utter surprise, all the formula that I had studied in trigonometry, plain trigonometry, they become useless. And I asked my teacher, why is it so, sir? Unfortunately, he was a gold medalist, but still he had no answer. Very simple one. I said, see, you ask so many questions. It happens like that. So it happens if your teacher don't know, your teachers don't know, and teacher says that it is like that. So you accept it, no? And today I realize, friend, particularly those who teach at the master level mathematics, majority of the people who teach mathematical concept at the master level, 90% people, 90 to 95% people, they themselves don't understand. So they teach on the basis of rote memory, friends. Majority, I'm telling you, because I've done my master in mathematics, and still my first passion is to understand the mathematical beauty, the epistemology and ontology of mathematics. I read, and that's why my ideal is Bertrand Russell, 2 books, Principles of Mathematics and Philosophy of Mathematics written by him. I mean, he's the only one who has written maximum number of books in this world. 117 books. You'll be surprised. Only mathematicians who has been given Nobel Prize. You'll say, so you are saying contradictory things. Because Nobel Prize is not given in mathematics. You are right, friends. He was given Nobel Prize for something else. You'll be surprised. But he was primarily a mathematician. With J.H. Hardy, the only one who discovered Ramanujan from India. But anyway, forget about that. So for example, if a real world is assumed, then what can be known about it is how things really are and how things really work. That's it. And that's why from this concept, you cannot explain hell and heaven. So then only those questions that relate to the matters of real existence and real action are admissible. Other questions, such as those concerning matters of aesthetics or moral significance, fall outside the realm of legitimate scientific inquiry. Like one of my students, she's working on humanism and epistemic and pedagogic discourses of science education from the humanistic perspective. And aesthetic is one of our objectives. So yesterday only said, so I said, oh, because in this COVID period, continuous interaction is not taking place. I said, sorry, I have forgotten your exact title. Because if I'm a supervisor, I must know the exact title of the each and every research problem of my student, because it's a co-journey. It's not only, the students do or researcher does. You have to do, I make it sure that the book my research scholar is reading, I must read those books. It's the prime condition to do research with me, because this is the thing that I learned from my teacher. So my teacher had a condition that whenever you'll buy not one book, but you'll buy two books, one for me and one for yourself. So wherever in India I used to travel and I used to buy books for my research, I used to buy two copies, one for my research supervisor and one for myself. And for initial 3 years, he asked me only to read. And I used to brief him, this is what I have read. That's it. I started my research in 4th year, friends. I have taken 5 years and 6th year only my research degree was awarded. But anyway, I'm not saying that you should also take that much time. No, why should you? But reading has its importance. Okay, so when we try to understand the question of aesthetics from a scientific perspective, we found, my God, we don't have answer. Then I remember that during the B.Ed program, we had a tutorial class, and in that tutorial class, my tutor had discussed about Chandrasekhar's book. See, 92, 93, I did. And I asked my research scholar, buy that book. It is very costly. So she said, so can I buy it second hand? I said, oh, fine. You give me only photocopy. I had read those times. Again, I'm reading that. And that's why the last point is very important. If a real world is assumed, then what can be known about it is how things really are, number one, and how they work. Then only those questions that relate to matters of real existence and real actions are admissible. And other questions, such as those concerning matters of aesthetics or moral significance, fall outside the realm of legitimate scientific inquiry. Morally something may be significant for me, and the same thing will become insignificant for you. What is morally significant for our generation, that's morally no more significant for present generation. And the present generation is justified in that. I support the present generation, that you have all the rights to decide what is morally significant for you and what is not morally significant for you. Why I should always live by my ancestral's moral significant point of view? It's my life. Time is changed. And that's why I say I don't believe in, so-called, however great minds have given the concept of the morality. I believe in ethics, ethical values, or the moral values, because I believe that ethical values are completely different from the moral values. And every individual being has got the fundamental right. No religious text can dictate us. Sometimes I feel like, doing some research of the religious text from the sociological point of view. But, things become so controversial today. But anyway, as a researcher. So inquiry paradigm now, epistemological questions. Those were in terms of reality, so ontological questions. In terms of epistemology, so now the knowledge question. What is the nature of the relationship between the knower or would-be knower and what can be known? Do you think as a researcher you can know it? And if you think that yes, you can know, as we said earlier, then what will be the nature of the relationship that you can know? And that's why I particularly tell my PhD students, there are n number of problems which cannot be researched upon, particularly as the PhD level. Because you don't have resources, funds, even knowledge, frankly speaking, friends. So the answer that can be given to this question is constrained by the answer already given to the ontological question. What was that? That is, not just any relationship can now be postulated. So if, for example, a real reality is assumed, then the posture of the knower must be one of the objective detachment or value freedom in order to be able to discover how things really are and how things really work. Now, methodological concerns, methodological questions from the perspective of in inquiry paradigm. How can the inquirer or would-be knower, here in our case, the researcher, go about finding out whatever he or she believes can be known? Again, the answer that can be given to this question is constrained by answers already given to the first two questions, the ontological question and the epistemological question. Not just any methodology is appropriate, friends. So how you have answered first question will decide the second question, and how you have decided the second question, the answer to these questions will decide the methodology of your research. But see, I don't find, even I don't do, frankly speaking, friends, I'm not saying, I can't claim that I'm doing this. Nobody's doing research like that in terms of formulating the research questions, research objectives, and research hypotheses. For example, a real reality pursued by an objective inquirer mandates control of possible confounding factors, whether the methods are qualitative, say, for example, observational, or quantitative, say, analysis of covariance. One thing more, when I made a statement that how can the inquirer, would-be knower, or the researcher go about finding out whatever he or she believes can be known, that decides everything. See what is happening, the biggest fraud in quantitative research, the biggest fraud, and that is the questionnaire. If you're interested why I call it fraud, I have my logic. If you're interested, I'll share with you. If I forget, you remember this question and ask me this question. Because in coming 10 verse, I want to, talk about something else. I'll tell you. Not only from the ontological and epistemological point of view, even axiologically, that's fundamentally wrong, friends, and that's why I call it fraud. I have examples also. Not only I'll tell you, logical answer I'll not give you. I'll give you the practical answers to you. Okay, fine. So that was the methodological question. So conversely, selection of a manipulative methodology, like the experimental design, say, implies the ability to be objective and a real world to be objective about. Do you think in education, I can argue with anyone in the world. Why experimental research in the field of education and social science is not truly an experimental? Because they defy the fundamental basis of objectivity, friends. You cannot manipulate, you cannot control human minds. And you're saying, oh, our research is the experimental in nature. I don't understand sometimes how come the people who claim that they are the top class researcher in quantitative research in education, they believe in such kind of things. I don't understand at all. I have my personal experience with that. Like in MPhil, when I was writing dissertation on the case analysis method, case profiles of the adolescents, male adolescents, because psychological topic was there. So, you know, my teacher, because she was product of GNU, so she wanted, okay, Arvind, which tools you are going to use? I said, which tools? No, I mean, which questionnaire? I said, questionnaire? Why should I use questionnaire? I said, no. People will not recognize your research if you are not using research tools. I said, ma'am, sorry, I'm not going to use any research tool. And one of the professors from NCRT, I'll not name, he came for the Viva Voce, because in Delhi University system is completely different. 100 numbers, you know, if a Viva Voce is not given by one, so 4 people will simultaneously ask you a question. It is distributed 30, 30, 40, like this. So one internal supervisor, one external faculty from the university, and one outside the university will come for that. And he was, you know, turning page after page. He was not getting anything. He got frustrated. You know, he said, this is a good research, but this research, it doesn't have any tools, techniques, and this. Then my supervisor said, Arvind, now it's your turn. What do you have to say? So I had my argument. I mean, why I should follow what is being followed by generations without thinking about that? I don't understand. Why not that? You know, that's why in the beginning I said innovativeness and creativeness is very important. You need to think slightly different, friends. Like no more I say that the inductive method is opposite to deductive method. But the entire Western science discourse is a full width that inductive method is opposite to deductive method. General through particular and particular to general. Even people like Auguste Comte, Aristotelian syllogistic, all says. And almost all educational pedagogy books are full with this. Inductive method is opposite to deductive. And people present the comparison of the two methods. But when I did my research, and today I say, no, inductive method and deductive method are not the two opposite methods, friends. They are the two faces of the same coin. This is what my, in the area in which I have done research, that research says. So I have extended it, that no induction is possible without deduction, and no deduction is possible without induction. Like I remember in one of the lectures, I don't remember exactly, but one management professor contradicted my statement. And he said that, so somebody has said this. I said, I'll be eagerly waiting for that writing. I'll be eagerly for that literature. I would like to read, and I'll take my sentence back, a statement back. And I'll rewrite my, PhD thesis, I cannot rewrite, but I'll revise my book. My first book is based on my research only. Perhaps in majority of the library in India, that book is there. Majority of the library, not only in education, friends, but in Sanskrit and in philosophy as well, and in social science as well. But anyway. So the methodological question cannot be reduced to a question of methods, friends. As I said in the beginning, there is a huge difference between method and method. Methods must be fitted to a predetermined methodology. And as I said, methodology takes its strength from theoretical perspective, and theoretical perspective receives its strength from the ontological, epistemological, geological reality. Okay, moving ahead, friends. These are the alternative inquiry paradigm model. Okay, so what I'll be doing, I'll be sharing, maybe because files are too heavy, but some important slides I'll definitely share with Pramodji, and Dr. Gupta will give it to you further. See here, alternative inquiry paradigm. So one is the inquiry paradigm. Why I'm showing it to you, because please, for God's sake, always look for the alternatives. Now the right time to complete what I was talking about. When we talk about the sources of knowledge, it's a personal experience is the best source of knowledge and research. Second, tradition. Third, authority. And suppose when all the three fail, then the research. And even when research fails, like see, this is happening today. Whole world is conducting research, no, on COVID-19 pandemic. No, but see, the entire academia, theoreticians, practitioners, medical science is struggling to come out with a reliable, dependable vaccine. Why? People are claiming, no, that we have done this, we have done that. Then why it is not coming into the market? Why? 1 year is gone. We are entering into the second year. And some researchers have pointed it out. This cycle will be completed only in 7th year. So most probability it will remain continue by 2026. And not single vaccine will be suitable for all, because the COVID has various shades. Read some research outcomes. So the nature of COVID in India is completely different from the nature of COVID virus in US, in Europe, even in China, friends, frankly speaking. And that's why death rate in Europe and America is a very, very high in comparison to Singapore and India. Okay, you'll say, oh, Singapore is a very small country, fine, particularly in India. One day I was sitting with some pharmaceutical scientist. I said, some pharmaceutical people should not only see, look into the chemical compositions of the Indian food, but also that is there in our tradition. I mean, I'm not a medical scientist person. Recently, my nephew, both wife and husband and doctors, they presented a paper. They just wanted me to listen to their presentation. I did participate sometimes when medical doctors present their research papers, because this is my hobby. I love to see. It's not only the the education people who present. Even the hardcore psychologist, sociologist, economist, anthropologist, physicist. Like in last 2 months, I'm taking classes for the people who will be conducting their research in physics, right? Anyway, and what is so unique about India? Maybe our food habits, because we use in our food turmeric so much, ginger so much, and many other things. Might be those elements have given us more immune power. And that immune power has come natural to us. That could be reason. I don't know, because I told you I'm not a biological scientist. But hypothesis I can formulate now. And those pharmaceutical scientists, because my vice chancellor himself is a pharmaceutical scientist, and he was sitting with his colleagues, and I made this point that why we are not conducting some research. Maybe that could be the reason that it is so low. Anyway, coming back to our topic, friends, this is see. So my original question was, as a source of knowledge, when personal experience fails, when tradition fails, when authority fails, when even research fails to provide suitable answer to the problem or answer to the question, what as a researcher you should do. My sincere advice will be always look for alternative source of knowledge. I mean, I start my class with that. So we should also think about the alternative inquiry paradigm. Why always we talk quantitative paradigm, qualitative paradigm? So this is in front of you, but I'm not going to discuss it today. If time permits, some of the things I'm noting it down. I'll be talking about alternative paradigm some other day. But see, I'm presenting you from the very practical point of view. Maybe in the next workshop when we'll be organizing, taking a clue from this, and I'll ask you to formulate your research questions. Or I'll ask you to formulate your research hypothesis. I'll ask you to formulate your research objectives. Or keeping this paradigm, alternative inquiry paradigm, please formulate, I'll give you 3 research questions, research problems, and I'll ask you, okay, these are the problem statement. Now you convert, okay, or change on the basis of alternative inquiry paradigm. So to understand ontology today we have positivism, post-positivism, critical theory, constructivism. No, I'll be showing that. Epistemologically again, but the position is different. Like when we'll be talking, we talk about the positivism, that is the quantitative paradigm, right? Dualist and objectivist. But on the contrary, in terms of constructivism, we talk about transactional or the subjectivist created findings or constructed findings, rather I should say. Similarly, methodology. If you are doing positivism, experimental, but you'll have to ask question. Are our research truly experimental? If not, why you are conducting experimental research? Why don't you think something else? Can you manipulate everything? Can you control everything? If not, why you are doing this? I mean, it's a high time we should talk in that term. Why not instead of experimental, you should use dialectical method? Or if you are hell-bent, no, I'm going to use experimental, then modify the experimental. Modify your manipulation technique. Instead of verification, you talk about the critical multipluralism or the falsification of hypothesis. You falsify the hypothesis. Or it may include, instead of quantitative method in post-positivism, qualitative methods. So that's why I say, instead of experimental, I can think about dialogue and dialectical. Instead of experimental, I can think about hermeneutical as far as the methodology is concerned. Okay. One thing more, as I said, all religions are mental constructions. No. And the best proof is, like one of my friends, he's a Sai devotee, he said, please, Arvind, don't talk like this. Then one day I convinced him. Similarly, I tell you, all paradigms that we have today, they are the human constructs, not the ultimate constructs. So paradigms as set of basic beliefs are not open to proof in any conventional sense. There is no way to elevate one over another on the basis of ultimate foundational criteria. Any given paradigm represents simply the most informed and sophisticated view that its proponents have been able to devise. Therefore, what I want to make a point is this: in all cases, they are human constructions. That is, they are all inventions of the human mind and hence subject to human error. Okay? This is what I wanted to tell you. Secondly, no construction is or can be incontrovertibly right. Like no religion can ultimately be right. Why? Because every religion is a human construction, a result of human construction. It advocates of any particular construction must rely on persuasiveness and utility rather than proof in arguing their positions. And this we need to understand. So for God's sake, don't say this is the ultimate piece of research work. No. Or this is the ultimate method. And there is nothing like that. There's nothing like that. You follow religion X or religion Y, ultimately you'll have to die. And see, despite the fact that all religions advocate, please live a moral life, a benevolent life. No? But see, people belonging to a religious sect X hate religious sect Y. Are nothing but the human construction. And then what is the nature? As I said, it will depend on epistemology, ontology. So today, in 5 minutes, I'll be just showing you the things that tomorrow, okay, because I think we have crossed the time. I have no problem. I mean, it's my passion. I can talk whole night. Okay, that's a different thing. But I understand that there is a limit to understand. There is a limit to absorb. There is a limit to, have patience or be patient. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some of the slides that tomorrow I'm going to do. So I'll be talking about the constituents of the paradigm of research. Fine, friends. Then I'll be talking about what I have added and why I have added and why you should also add when you become researcher in your own way. Okay. Then I'll be talking about why ontology and epistemology of research, because time and again, I mean, my presentation today is mostly the kind of questions that people ask me, that why, sir, you have when you revise this book, you have written about why ontology and epistemology of research. Okay, I'll be talking about that. And then I'll be talking about the methodological frameworks. I'll also talk, I'll explain you. Don't worry. If you haven't studied philosophy, don't worry. In a very nutshell, I'll make you understand what is ontology, what is epistemology, not in terms of as philosophy people understand, but in terms of as a researcher should understand. Okay, then I'll be talking about the 5 basic paradigms, and I'll be also talking about, I mean, this is the general paradigms of research, but yes, positivism doesn't fall in our category, so we'll restrict our presentation in terms of 4 basic paradigms. That is, I'll start with positivism, pragmatism, constructivism, and criticalism. And then, of course, I'll give you some glimpse of positivist paradigm of research also, but I'll request you to read the work of Aristotle, Descartes, Galileo, Auguste Comte, Vienna Circle, Francis Bacon, Karl Popper, okay, and and so forth, to understand all these things. Okay, because people don't read, and that's why in quantitative research, we are just blindly following the questionnaire, the battery, etc., etc. When I'll be talking about post-positivism, at that time, friends, what I'll be talking about theoretically, I'll show you a comparative picture of ontological assumptions and the epistemological assumptions. Who are the main thinkers that you should read? You should read some works written by Edmund Husserl, Arthur Schulze, William Dilthey, George Gardner, Howard Blumer, etc., etc. I'll also suggest you, when we'll be talking about the critical paradigm, and when we'll be talking about the critical paradigm, again, I'll show you the 2 assumptions, because our entire research is based on assumptions. And that time, I'll request you to read Howard Marcuse, Eric Fromm, Theodore Adorno, Karl Popper, Habermas, Paul Freire, Michael Foucault, Alistair Pennycock, Norman Fairclough, and so on and so forth, right? Please read yourself, okay? And maybe sometimes we can start a dialogue free of cost, right? I don't know, that organizer knows, and we can just discuss and deliberate all these things. Like, see, if I am interested in critical theory, I must read the Frankfurt School. If I am interested in critical pedagogy, then yes, Paul Freire. And even Henry Zero, I haven't included his name. Nowadays, I'm very much impressed by his work. If I'm interested in structuralism, Michael Foucault, critical applied linguistics. Okay, suppose my research is a combination of the 2, or critical discourse analysis, then Norman Fairclough is a must. I'll be talking about discourse analysis, right? Norman Fairclough is a must. If I'm interested in queer theory, or feminism, or postmodernism as a research methodology. I should understand that why, how, and what are the things that are necessary. Similarly, then I'll be also talking about methodological framework, and there tomorrow I'll be talking about symbolic instructionism, phenomenological description, constructivist hermeneutics, and critical studies. Generally, like when I revise book, I have also not mentioned, but I'm also learning and growing. Okay, and then in detail we'll be talking about when I say symbolic interactionism, what is that, or phenomenological descriptions, what's that. Similarly, if I'll talking about the constructivist hermeneutics, what's that, how can you do that, and of course critical studies, I'll be talking about that. But anyway, when I'll be talking about till here all theoretical, no, but you people, I know, as Dr. Gupta told me, I'll be talking about the praxis of paradigm position also, that practically how they are used and how they can be used. Okay, but today I'm just showing you the slides. So praxis of paradigm of position, and then I'll conclude. But I'll conclude with this saying, friends, and I'm telling you the conclusive statement. And again, tomorrow we'll do that. Do you think that it is important to understand the importance of epistemology, ontology, and rhetoric of research, particularly social science research, educational research, management research? If yes, pursue it, and pursue it passionately for better understanding. Understanding is the key, friends. If not, I'll not ask you to remember all these things. Forget everything and do your research as you are doing. Or what I'll be talking tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. Okay, narrative inquiry is this, and you can apply this. So I would like to conclude here. Thanks to all. I'm sorry I could not complete. Maybe I might have started slightly late. I don't know. Dr. Gupta is the best man to judge that. And so I stop sharing my slides, and it's over to the organizer. And if you're interested, I can take few quick questions, or if you think it is a better that we should take question tomorrow. But tomorrow, make it sure, Dr. Gupta, I request that please give me 10 minutes to at least to say hi and hello to participant if it's possible. If not, it's okay, right? Thank you so much.
Actually, sir, we can see only their questions and the chat.
Okay. So what you can do is you can create the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
and
have
include
done.
and include my number 8055801199 80.
Okay, sir.
Because that's only WhatsApp number I have.
Why
And
not?
maybe informally I'll chat with them. No problem. Why to waste time
Okay.
here? Okay, that
course.
can be done. Okay.
Sir, many thanks to you. We have more benefited, and it was a brainstorming session. Many thanks to you. We will meet again tomorrow. Thank you, sir. And many thanks
Thank
to
you so
you,
much.
all learners. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good night. I take leave. Can I leave now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.